Hey there, boys and girls. Welcome back to Back Pocket Game Reviews. And what juicy little story do I have for you guys today? Well, I have a story about GameStop. A person reached out to me. We'll say it like this. Reached out to me and sent me a bunch of screen caps of an interaction they're having with a GameStop employee of a store. We're gonna leave names out of this. We're gonna leave location out of this. I don't really support doxing or harassment, but we're gonna talk about the situation. So I will post some of the screen caps for this this incident. It will be heavily redacted on names because that's not something I want to be a part of this particular conversation, and I don't want to encourage any kind of harassment. So this individual bought a new game at GameStop, and well, fortunately for them, or unfortunately for them I guess, that new game was an open new game. We all know how that goes, right? We've been there. Well, he decided he wanted to return it. It was the same day. They told him he could not return the game. That was not allowed, because it was an open game. If you sell someone an open new game, and it was okay to qualify and say it was new when you sold it to them, you have to be able to take it back as a new game. And new games are allowed to be returned within 30 days as long as they're unopened. So I can't speak if this GameStop store sealed it or didn't seal it, or maybe it was a newer employee. It could be a lot of different issues. There was a specific manager at this location, though, that was apparently a little bit harassing to this guy and would keep calling him by his first name and kind of making fun of him in the store, which is super inappropriate. Look, I work retail. Have I had bad customers? I sure have. Have I harassed them in my store? No. Unfortunately, you have to be able to move past that and be the bigger person when you work retail. And I'll be the first person to tell you the customer is not always right. I'm willing to admit that the kid who reached out to me, he is a bit on the weird side. But you don't know if he could have autism. He could have plenty of other different issues going on. So it is kind of wrong to make fun of him. But this continues. It doesn't stop there, guys, because of course the hell it doesn't. It's GameStop. And I also want to be clear on this. Not all GameStops have terrible employees, but GameStop does tend to have a lot of terrible employees because they pay poorly, and typically people get paid poorly and are okay with it when they're terrible people who are just going to not be very good to your customers. You take care of your employees, they take care of your customers. You don't take care of your employees, you wind up with bad employees. But some people do enjoy working in a game store. That's why I did it. That's why I was there for so long. So he wrote a Yelp review about this particular GameStop, where he kind of laid into the GameStop saying, hey, you know, this was my experience there. These managers were a bit aggressive towards me, and kind of went on about that. Well, then a GameStop employee who works at that store went on to decide to contact him back and start harassing him, which I have. I've literally read through all of that. Said GameStop employee calls him a cuck, calls him a beta, calls him neurotic. I mean, we are talking a lot of different stuff is thrown at this kid. I shouldn't even call him a kid. I don't know how old he is. From what I gathered from what he said to me, though, he still lives with his parents. So we're gonna refer to him as a kid. Probably like 17, 18, 19, somewhere in there. So it's really not okay for an employee to then not only, so I get it. When they're in your store, sometimes it can be frustrating. Sometimes it can be hard to deal with certain people. And to some degree, you have to be able to cater to them. I'm not saying that they're always right. I'm not saying you need to even kiss their ass. But there's a level of appropriateness that is expected out of you when you are an employee of a company. You are representing that company. You might not be the only thing representing that company, but you are a representative of that company. So for you to then take it outside of work and start harassing this individual online, that is taking it to a whole different level. I did call this GameStop store too to make sure that these employees still work there. And I did also try to ask a little bit about the situation. None of them seemed willing to talk to me about said situation, which is fine. I get it. I understand, especially if you know my channel. You might not be so willing to discuss the specifics here. A GameStop district manager did reach out to him, but it doesn't look like any action was actually taken in this situation. So Steve is the name of the district manager. We're not going to disclose any last names. We're just going to use Steve. Well, Steve, I really think you should probably be examining the way that this store is treating your customers, because if it's him, I can guarantee you it's not only him. There are other customers they are probably treating this way as well, if not worse. And the reason where that becomes such a big problem is right now GameStop is not doing well. They are losing customers. Their sales have been down year over year. The company as a whole is not doing great. So if your representatives of your store, of your company, these are the people that someone is interacting with and viewing as your company, are treating employees to the point where they are now harassing them online, that's pretty bad. Like, that's pretty shitty and low. Let alone, I was really shocked. You always know it's gonna be good when the person starts off with insults like cuck and beta. Like, that's it. Like, you already know that person has no self-esteem because no actual alpha male calls another person a beta. Dominance isn't established by the way you talk to someone, by the way. Just so we're clear on that too. But I just find it really interesting that actions haven't been, at least, and for all I know, because I didn't speak to Steve, I guess I probably could have reached out to Steve, but my guess would be he's probably unwilling to talk to me as well. Especially about something internal like this. I would assume they have some form of investigation, at least going on in that store. And they might even get mystery shopped, and said mystery shoppers may act like some more difficult customers just to kind of see how that store's handling the incident. And again, unfortunately with these types of situations, it'll always be one person's word versus another. I wasn't specifically there, but judging by the fact that the store was willing to go onto a Yelp review and start harassing someone on there, I'm gonna guess that their customer service skills aren't that great. I mean, it's literally comments like, "No one in the store enjoys helping you. We all hate you." Oh God, it is a shitstorm right there for good old GameStop. It's sort of like the whole Staples situation. In case you haven't heard, over the last couple days, Staples apparently accused a pregnant woman of stealing, and the cop had the pregnant woman lift up her shirt to show her belly because they thought that she was stealing and not actually pregnant. I'm not saying a pregnant woman can't steal. I'm just saying for you to think that someone's pregnant bulge is fake, like they're wearing a fake one and just hiding it up in there or something like that, that's pretty... Who doesn't love working retail? It's always fun though to hear stories of like terrible things that go on and you're like, at least I'm not that guy. Well guys, I would love to hear your comments about this situation. You can leave them down in that comment section down below. I do tend to respond and answer things down there. I'm sure a lot of you already know that. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel and ding that little notification bell. If you don't ding the bell, it's not going to tell you when I upload. You're just kind of following me at that point. It'll tell you when a video gets a lot of traction. That's when you'll find out. But some of my best content never gets traction, so it is what it is. You can also check out my description box down below for any links of any other places you might want to follow me. I go to a lot of places and hang out. We can hang out together in those places. I'll see you all soon. I'll have plenty more content coming for you, and stick around.